One of my favorite actors that's around these days, and I'll tell you, a lot of my favorite actors aren't around at all anymore. I don't mean to age you, Alan, but it's a pleasure.
You had me there for a minute.
It's a pleasure to talk with you. You know,
I still have a little life in me yet.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm thinking about the great people. I love Laurel and Hardy and W.C. Fields and Walter Brennan and people like that. And people that are around today, I guess Gene Hackman, Alan Arkin, people like that really make me feel good when I go to the movies.
Well, thank you very much.
I have to tell you this. I walked in to see The In-Laws just on a whim. My wife and I decided we were going to go to a movie. Didn't know anything about it at all, and laughed hysterically. We came out of the theater just having one of the greatest times ever spent in the movies. That is one funny movie.
Well, I'm glad you liked it, Ken. Thank you very much.
Yeah. You grew up in New York City, did you not?
Yes, I did. Well, until I was 11, then we moved to Los Angeles.
You were a singer with the Terriers?
Yeah.
What? I never picture Alan Arkin really being a singer, but...
Well, you have to start now.
Okay. You grew up in New York, you went to Los Angeles, and then I know you also worked around Chicago, didn't you?
Well, that was where I got my first break, really, at the second city in Chicago.
Doing funny stuff, stand-up comedy and that kind of thing?
Not really. It was the first improvisational group in the country. Nobody had ever done it before in this country. I don't think anybody ever done it before at all, except for Italy in the 18th century. But we started it all, and I think groups like Saturday Night Live and SCTV wouldn't be around if it wasn't for what we did in Chicago then.
That's very true. I think when you think of comedy, a lot of people automatically think of Chicago and Second City, John Belushi, all those people that came out of there.
That's right.
And you would have been in that group,
I was in that group.
Yeah, back in the 50s maybe?
No.
40s?
The 60s.
Okay, yeah, the 60s, that'd be right. Anyway, maybe that explains why you got around to doing some writing. You direct. You do everything, don't you?
I do everything, yes. I do everything.
I have a little clip here I want to play from The Lemming Condition. All right, I'll play that clip. Then we'll come back and talk about it, okay?
Okay.
Alan Arkin is on the line. I have to find out about this, Alan. Of course, people who don't know what lemmings are, they're little animals that tend to think alike, and they all run into the sea, right?
Yeah, everybody thought it was a legend for a long time, but recently they found out that it's true, that they commit mass suicide. Little animals that look like fat gerbils, and they live off the coasts of islands like Nova Scotia and where else? It's early in the morning, Ken. I don't know who I am yet. You're asking me to talk seriously. I don't know who I am. Sweden, that's the country I was thinking of. Okay. Norway and Sweden. And they commit mass suicide periodically.
And nobody can explain it.
And it seemed to me that it was a interesting kind of parallel to what we seem to be doing in a lot of ways. So I wrote a little book about it.
It's good because it's...
Well, I'm losing you, Ken.
Oh, it's good.
I lost you.
You have lost me?
No.
Let me get over on the phone. Can you hear now?
Yeah.
Okay. It's good because I think there's so much peer pressure nowadays, particularly on young people. You know, they all want to wear the same kind of jeans. They all want to have the same kind of gym shoes. I guess you don't call them gym shoes anymore, my goodness. I think you can pay more for a pair of gym shoes than I paid for my first car, you know.
Yeah. I think it goes deep. Well, it's something, I don't think it's new. I think it's been around as long as we have, that kind of sense that if the group feels that it's right, then I got to go along with it. I have to think, who am I to question the wisdom of 50 people?
Right.
Even if it means my own death. Well, I mean, the drug culture is a good example of that.
And it's also probably the reason the old quote was, if you can hang on to your head while everyone else around you is losing theirs, you'll be the tallest one in the crowd.
Right.
But it's very true. This is geared for what age group, would you figure?
I don't know. I wrote it for adults, but they saw fit to publish it for young people. And I don't know what that means. They say, I think it's 10 and up.
Yeah.
But they thought highly of it, highly enough of it a couple of years ago to vote it into the White House library. So as a book, so I feel very proud of that.
Now, I haven't seen the book, but I have seen the tape. In fact, I played the tape. I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, and quite frankly, the 2-year-old, or 3-year-old, I'm sorry, I've got a 6 and a 3-year-old. I don't even know how old my own kids are. The 3-year-old listened for about 10 minutes and then kind of lost interest. But
he's much too young for it.
But the 6-year-old stayed with it for the entire 55 minutes or so.
Yeah, really? Did he?
Yeah. Well, they're both girls.
Huh? Did she?
Yeah. Yeah, she did, and we got to talking about it, and I used it as kind of an example, almost like we mentioned here. Just because your friends do something doesn't mean it's necessarily right.
Right.
And I think we can take it at all levels, really. But your description and all the rest of it, your narration, is mighty fine.
Thank you.
It takes a lot, doesn't it? Did you run through the whole thing?
What do you mean?
Without a break?
No, a lot of breaks. A lot of breaks. Every time I made a mistake, we took a break, and I did the section over again.
Yeah.
It took a whole day to record it. It's an hour long, but it was like an 8-to-1 ratio of how long it took me.
Are you a perfectionist?
Well, in some ways, yeah. In some ways, no. I guess like everybody else. Things I care strongly about, I'm a perfectionist about, and other things, not so much.
Yeah. There are some things I just wonder if you ever get them exactly the way you want them, or finally you just have to settle and say, hey, that's enough takes. We got to move on.
When exhaustion sets in, you've reached a point where there's no point in going on.
Okay. Well, I hope we still have a minute or two left to talk before we say there's no point in going on. Alan Arkin is on the line. I want to break for this, and then I want to talk about a motion picture if we can.
Okay.
This is fun talking to you. Like I say, I really appreciate your work and the characters you've gotten into. Things like, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, and The Russians Are Coming, Wait Until Dark. I got a call yesterday from somebody that told me that The Russians Are Coming is playing in Russia for the first time. It was made about 23 years ago, and for the first time now it's being shown in the Soviet Union. Isn't that something? Yeah. I don't know what's going on in the world, but I hope it's good. It sure appears to be good. Well, it's good. Things keep shifting. I think it's not a perfect planet, and I think as things are going to get good in certain areas, they'll find ways of being miserable in other areas. Yeah. Alan is in Florida these days, and as I understand it, you're working on a motion picture now, aren't you? Yeah. I'm working on a film called Edward Scissorhands, which is Tim Burton's new film. I'm sorry, Edward? Scissorhands. Okay. It's Tim Burton's new. You know who Tim Burton is? Yeah, I should know Tim Burton. Yeah. What's this one about? It's a fable. It's a fairy tale. Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder are the prince and princess, I guess is a way of saying it, except it's kind of an odd version of that story. It's going to be. I think it's going to be an enormous hit. It's feeling very, very good, and he's wonderful to work with. Terrific young man. Okay. Are you filming this at Universal by any chance down there? No, we're way in the middle of nowhere. We're about 20 miles north of Tampa. We're staying at a place where I just went for an hour walk, and there I saw about 4 alligators in ponds right next to my walk. Oh. From about 1.5 feet long to 4 feet long. You know, I've heard that the alligators are coming where they haven't been before because it's been so dry down in Florida. Everywhere, all over the place here. Yeah. And they may be hungry, so look out. I'm looking out. Okay. There used to be a day when people would be able to settle down in Los Angeles and make motion pictures, and it seems anymore, maybe the particular films you filmed. You've been all over the place, haven't you? No, everybody is these days. Films take you everywhere. And I like it. I like traveling. You do? Yeah. I guess that's kind of fun. I'd rather be anywhere than L.A. Seriously? Oh, yeah. I don't like Los Angeles much. Mainly because of smog? Well, you can't breathe. You can't drink the water. Those are good starting places, and it gets bad from there. So when we hear about celebrities who are really concerned about the old Earth of ours, they know where they're coming from. Absolutely. Yeah. Alan, I've really appreciated your work over the years. It's been a real thrill to talk with you. Good luck on this film, and if people are interested in The Lemming Condition, it is available on audio cassette. Should be able to find it wherever they sell those kind of things. I guess so. I hope so. Boy, you're a high-pressure sales kind of guy. I've never been a very good salesman. I like doing this stuff. I think if somebody wants to sell it, that's their job. One last question: Is there an Alan Arkin that we've really seen on film that reflects the real Alan Arkin? Are you like the dentist, perhaps in real life, that was in The In-Laws? No, I'm more like the guy in Wait Until Dark. Ooh. No, I'm joking. I'm going to say I'll just hang up very quietly and sneak off. People who know me seem to feel I'm more like Yossarian than anybody else I've played. Mm. Okay. Would you agree with that assessment?
It's their business. I don't know who I am.
Boy, does that sound like an actor. Alan, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken.
Best of luck.
Nice to talk to you.